Hey guys, David West here. A little bit of a different episode for you today. So today, February 21st, 2020, is my 30th birthday. So my wife, Cassie, decided to make an episode for her YouTube channel, which I will link to in the description, about me. She wanted to make a video celebrating me for my 30th birthday and talking about a short film that I made a few years back in 2013 that kind of played a big role in how we met and got together and ended up getting married and having kids and everything. So she wanted us to watch the short film and provide a little bit of commentary and talk about it and how it played a role in our life. So I'm just kind of introducing that episode here so you know what's going on after I disappear and it becomes the two of us sitting in here. It's just going to be her work. So this is an episode that my wife made. I really like it a lot. It was an awesome birthday present for her to make for me. And you can watch it, here, obviously, or you can also watch it on her channel. If you haven't seen my short film Liberation, you might want to watch it first, or you can just watch it along with us. But, it's a little bit nice to watch it the first time without commentary and interruptions and pauses. So I will link to that film in the description. And if you like this video, consider checking out my wife Cassie's YouTube channel, especially if you have like a wife or a girlfriend or something. You might and you enjoy my channel, you might want to point them to my wife's. She talks a little bit more about parenting and woman type issues than I do, and a whole lot less about gun rights. So it might appeal to people whose interests are a little different than mine are. Anyway, I think you guys will really enjoy it. It's a fun episode. My wife is awesome. So I'm going to go and try to have a good birthday today. And I'll be back with more episodes soon. Take care. Enjoy.
So happy birthday. Happy 30th birthday.
Now she can get roles in movies by sleeping with the director.
Yes, I really can. My dreams of being an actress have come true. Oh, you guys, since I've been with him, I've been in like dozens of commercials. Hi guys, what's up? Cassie West here. I am here with my husband, David West, and normally on Fridays I would do a video for my Feminine Friday series, but as you can tell, we're in a rather masculine space. And that is because tomorrow is my husband's 30th birthday. So I thought it would be fun to do a video honoring him, and I wanted to have us review his short film Liberation, because that was the first one of his projects he had ever sent me, and it's kind of how we started talking. And
it's basically the movie that helped me land her as a wife.
Yeah, the second I saw this movie that he sent me, so basically we had said like hi and like a little bit of like polite conversation, and then he was like, hey, check out my short film. The second I saw that, I was like, this guy is tall, he's Christian, he's libertarian, he's talented, he can direct entire films. I was like, I was just like, this is definitely something that I'm interested in, and I was like immediately like going crazy. So
yeah, like 2 weeks later we were officially dating.
Yeah, basically. like I was instantly like obsessed with him. So just after seeing like 30 seconds into this film, I was like, I want to date this man. He is like a dream man. So
and I could really tell she was interested too, because I sent it to her on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I saw your Facebook post about some of the writing that you're doing. Mm-hmm. And I asked her about that. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm a filmmaker too, so that's why I thought that was interesting. Here's one of my films if you ever want to check it out. And I sent it to her like hoping it would impress her, but I wasn't really sure if it would. Like there'd been other girls, even like girls that I dated, that were just kind of like, oh, cool, yeah, like whatever. And so I sent it to her, And she was like, okay, cool, I'll check it out. And I'm thinking, oh, that's just her being polite. And then 30 seconds
No,
later, it's
not
just
at
like,
all.
oh my gosh, who are these people getting shot? And I was like, wow, she like started watching that right away. And for the next
Yeah, I'm like very bad at playing hard to get.
like you were not playing hard to get.
I am like the least good at playing hard to get.
And so for the next like 15 or 16 minute duration of the short film, she's like, I'm getting like her live messages, live responses as she's going through it. And so I was like, dang, this girl's interested. She's actually watching this.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, he definitely read that correctly. I was interested. So, yeah. So let's get into it. Basically, before it starts, I would like to preface it with a little bit. So there's a few reasons why I find this really, really impressive. So, like I said, he's turning 30 tomorrow. He made this short film when he was like a 23-year-old kid, basically. And a 23-year-old youngin. And not only were there monetary constraints, so he made this whole film for $600. Like, you just basically paid for like what, like a couple costumes and a couple props.
My friend Chris Wolf, who his son Travis is like one of my best friends, and him and his brother Lucas, they're both in the movie. Their dad, who used to work in Hollywood, like building sets, he wanted to help us. He did some of the set design stuff we'll maybe talk about. So it was like he paid like an entry fee for the contest we were doing, because it was for, I should mention that it was for a speed filmmaking contest, a Christian speed filmmaking
that's another
contest.
thing that I was going to say. So it wasn't just that he had a money restraint of like this whole thing only cost like $600, but there was also a time constraint. He wrote it, filmed it, and submitted it all within a week. So it was like a timed film contest that he basically did on no budget. So I want you guys to understand that going into it, because when he first sent that to me, I was like, is this guy like rich? Because I thought it was like a $200,000 short film. Like I mean, part of that is just me being like dumb to like how movies are made. So I didn't understand like it really is possible to do pretty good things on like $20,000 budget, $30,000 budget. I thought that it was like a $200,000 production. And
it could have easily been like a $20,000 or $30,000 production if we just paid everybody the way that
but that speaks to him as a 23-year-old man. He's able to get dozens of people excited about doing a project for free. He's able to coordinate groups. He's able to get people to memorize lines for free. Like, even that in and of itself is a talent. So let's just say these were all things that were quite impressive to me in my search for an alpha.
Oh wow. I'm glad. So the time constraints in particular, it's for a Christian film festival called the 168 Project. 168 because you have 168 hours, which is 1 week. So to make the film, we were given at the beginning of the period to start making the film, they assigned everyone randomly a Bible verse. And we got kind of a weird one. The theme of the contest was atonement. And so you're thinking like, oh, it's going to be something about like atoning for sins. And it was like someone had just Control F searched like a text version of the Bible and found every verse as atonement, because the one that we got was Exodus 16:30, I think. We'll have to double check that. But it talks about like paying the temple tax for like the tent of meeting. So it's like not relevant to like modern New Testament salvific atonement. So that was an interesting challenge we had to work into the script. And so at the beginning of this period, we got a verse, and then we had 10 days to write the film and plan it and coordinate everything, followed by 7 days to shoot it and edit it and turn it in and everything.
Okay, so 23-year-old kid doing this for $600 in 1 week with all unpaid volunteers. So let's get into it.
Yeah, well, and like that gives you an idea of like just how non-existent the budget was. And then some people from our church who had a catering business, they provided food for us for the whole shoot, which would have been a big expense otherwise, because there were times where we were feeding like 25, 30 people on set. But anyway, you want to say anything before we start?
No, I already said my piece.
All right. Well, let's
get into it.
Yeah, let's get our headphones on here.
Okay.
Watch the movie, I guess. This is her show, but I'm the technical guy.
Yeah.
Where are they? I know you're hiding them. Tell me where they are.
Can I just point out that there's some foreshadowing there on that bookshelf?
What?
Pilgrim's Progress, right in the middle. Since I ended up making a Pilgrim's Progress feature film randomly a couple years later.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd do that.
Last chance. Tell me where they are.
Never.
Fine.
Oh my goodness.
Is it weird watching this now that you're like actually friends with those people since you weren't when you first saw this? Of course.
Yeah, because the next time I saw that woman, she was like so joyful and pregnant with her first child.
Yeah, because
like,
when you met her,
like
it was like 3
happiest
years
person.
after we'd made this movie, and she's like, 6 months pregnant or something.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I saw you as your husband was getting killed.
I don't believe in an America where the separation of church and state is absolute. The idea that
Should I tell him about
church
this?
can have no
Why this is
influence or
here?
no involvement.
Like what?
The Rick Santorum thing. You know why he's there?
Like what does that mean?
Okay, so long story short, the speed filmmaking contest that we made this for, right before they were going to announce the winners, or not the winners, the people who were selected just to go to the festival, they were going to select like half of the 160 or so submitted films, which we'd seen a bunch of them. Ours was like probably easily in the top 10% quality wise.
Mm-hmm.
I found out like 2 hours before they announced them that they also had announced that same day that Rick Santorum was like their new not master ceremonies, like honorary person helping them choose the winner or something like that. And I was like, oh great, our film's not even going to get selected for the festival. They're not even going to show it. They're going to think it's too controversial. And yeah, that was exactly what happened. They did not show our film. We even talked to them and they were like, well, guys, you can't just make a movie where the government looks bad. Like they should have told us that. Travis and I were like, wow, okay, thanks. But yeah. So this is the version I released online. I went back and I added a little thing where it shows that Rick Santorum is president of the dystopian near future United States because I wasn't happy about what they'd done to our film.
Yeah.
I gave our makeup artist a picture of Kelly Thomas, the guy who got beat to death, the homeless guy got beat to death by cops, and said, make Lucas look like this guy.
Could I get a minute? Yeah, of course. Thanks, man.
Yeah, these two guys are my friends, Lucas and Travis, who are brothers.
Turned out this way, Stephen.
Known since I was like 12.
Should be me in this room, not you. Dad always tried to raise us right, but guess you were the only one that really took it to heart. Wish I would have listened. So now I'm in trouble. You were right. Just what we're doing, what I'm doing. It's just sick. I've hurt a lot of people. Good people. I know it was wrong. I'm just sorry it took what happened to you to make me realize that.
I'm breaking you out of here. Wait. Forget about myself. Help the others. You know what? I don't get it. All you had to do is take back what you said. You didn't even have to mean it. All this would have gone away. Just let me do this. I can make this right here.
Frank, I just won't buy your salvation, so not any more than paying your taxes will. You need to help others. This is the right thing to do. But remember, your debt has been paid in full. You've been forgiven. You just need to accept that.
So I cringe a little bit at that one line where he's like, where he talks about like you don't need to pay your taxes, or whatever they say. That was like our kind of way of shoehorning in the Bible verse that they gave us, where it talked about you have to pay the.
Because they had to include the Bible verse.
We had to include the Bible verse.
But when he first sent this to me, like when I first started watching it, I was like, oh my goodness, this is like a Christian libertarian filmmaker. And my whole life I've always wanted to be an actress. I was like, literally, I want to like this guy so bad. So I was hoping that it wouldn't be some dumb like prosperity gospel or some like weird fringe, because you know how there's so many weird Christian fractions out there that believe all sorts of just crazy things. And then when I got to this scene, I was like, oh my goodness, this is like the true gospel of Jesus Christ, paid it in full. It's all by grace through faith. I was like, this guy's like a saved, normal, like conservative Christian. I was like, wow, I can actually like this guy. So this is about the moment in the film where I started getting really excited, not just for the movie, but also because I was like,
this was the moment you were like, I want to marry this guy.
I was like, this is a very, very promising dating prospect.
Well, you were also probably kind of surprised. I don't know, maybe I'm being presumptuous, but weren't you kind of surprised, or maybe I know the story, but weren't you kind of surprised also that it was like actually like reasonably well made and looked like a movie?
Right. Because remember when he made this, he was like some 23-year-old kid, and so when he was like, oh, here, check out my film, I was like, oh, okay, your film, because you made a movie. I didn't know it would be like an actual like legitimate thing. I was like imagining something that someone was doing on like a smartphone or something. So
you still clicked on it pretty fast.
Yeah, that's because I at that point I had realized that you were like a Christian libertarian filmmaker.
Yeah.
Because before that I thought that you were an atheist.
You want to know why she thought I was an atheist? She thought I was an atheist because my banner image on Facebook was a picture of stars. And she was like, oh, he must be like one of those like Neil deGrasse Tyson atheist types that just loves the cosmos.
Yeah.
And it was just a picture that I took because I do astrophotography as a hobby. So it was like
Right.
actually cool, but she was like thinking bad of me for it.
Right.
So
Like I had no idea. So, okay, let's keep going.
No. The things I've done can't be forgiven.
I think the film only gets better from here once I get the kind of ham-fisted dialogue part out of the way.
Right, because all this part is for the criteria for the festival in order to meet the criteria for the contest.
And it's setting up a lot. But
You're a good man, Saul. Consummate professional. I know this is hard for you, but I trust you'll keep doing your job. This is for the best, you know. Your country will be forever indebted to the sacrifices you've made for the greater good. It takes brave men to do the things we do for God and country.
And I thought this part was so profound because, I was always very against the military-industrial complex, and that's how he initially found me. So I really agreed with basically this whole message.
You people need to wake up. Our leaders don't worship God, they worship a flag. They tell you that your sins will be forgiven if you pay your taxes to the church and sit quietly like good little Christians. But it's a lie. We're not under that covenant anymore. But you fools buy right into it because you love it when the politicians quote scripture out of context and play it to your prejudices.
That's far more
Each
relevant
man
today than it
needs
was even
to
back
ask
when this
for
was made.
forgiveness on his own. Jesus wouldn't have us force the gospel on people at gunpoint. They're throwing people in cages and slaughtering them.
No, they actually are.
Innocent people.
wait, I want to point out here, right here too, just because you see all these kids in the cage, like originally, because I wanted the implication to be that like the government was going after all sorts of undesirables, like immigrants and drug users and whatever. And that was kind of like them cracking down and like wrongfully trying to enforce laws that were specifically meant for the nation of Israel, which is defunct now. So I wanted to have like people that look like they could be like Muslim, or people that look like they could be like Mexican immigrants in there. It's really hard to find extras that aren't like white people in Southern Oregon. Like the one or two guys I had weren't available that day. They're like, oh, I really want to be in it, but because remember, it was such a short timeline. I had like 4 days to film this whole thing.
You guys, I moved here for him. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I lived in Washington, D.C., Tucson, Arizona, Boston, Massachusetts. Like, I've never lived in not a major metropolitan city. Like, the biggest culture shock of all was just being like, why is there only white people? You guys have no idea how white Oregon is. Well, especially, it's like insane.
Especially because there's a decent Hispanic population, but they're largely like actual Spanish speaking immigrants that come here to work on farms.
I'm
so they're not
used
around
to being
the white
from
people.
like very multicultural places and backgrounds, and it's just like, just to have it to be like there's not that here. It is really weird.
Yeah, but so long story short, those were supposed to be like poor little like Mexican children thrown in cages, which would have been really really prescient now, given what's going on at the border and stuff.
Right.
But no, instead I just had to put white people, and I'm sure that, which is funny because I've had liberals actually be like, this movie is just about how persecuted Christians are. And I'm like, actually, like, not really at all what it's about,
but like, we literally don't have anybody but white people, so you guys have to understand the circumstances we're operating under.
No, this is not about persecuted white Christians. There just happen to be white people in the film, and there's only like 3 Christians that are standing up and being persecuted. All the other ones are just like going along with the government. Basically, the original idea was that this was supposed to be a sort of like my initial idea was to make kind of like a movie about people standing up against like Christians standing up against like the German government. But I was like, well, I do not have the budget to make a World War II period film. That would just take way too many costumes. I don't have the right kind of guns or anything. So I was like, I'll just make sort of like an analogy, like a dystopian near future that's basically like a Nazi Germany kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So this pastor's like a Dietrich Bonhoeffer kind of character.
And you're turning a blind eye to it because you disagree
That's my
with their
brother-in-law now.
lifestyles, or how they came to this country, or their religion. These are the very people that Jesus spent much of his time loving. And most of you won't even stand up to defend
like,
them.
These people want to drop bombs on people instead of spreading the gospel to them.
Some have kept the faith, and they've paid for it dearly. But mark my words, even if you think I'm crazy, there's gonna come a night when you'll wake up staring down the barrel of a rifle. And when that night comes, there isn't going to be anyone left to help you.
As you can see, that's a very first they came for the German.
Right. First they came for the communists, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't.
Granted, you can come for the communists all you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
But it's still a powerful statement. Oh, so by the way, this whole room this is all taking place in was our old church's nursery that we turned into an execution chamber.
That very time.
Yeah, our church moved out of that building and started meeting in a school before we knew each other. Mm-hmm. So you might not have actually realized that was the church's nursery. That was RVF's nursery. This jail cell set here I want to draw attention to real quick. This is one of the things that Chris Wolf, the lead 2 actors' dad, that he kind of helped us put together. He had this gate. I think that gate was from like the set of Titanic or something. And for some reason he had it. He like got it from somebody. And so we used that. And then the walls back there that look kind of like dank, dirty dungeon walls. He used to own a pool company, like a pool installation company, Viking Pools. And so he had these giant foam blocks that would be used to like transport pools, like like these fiberglass pools. They were like space fillers. And so he poured like acid on them and etched them. He'd actually set them up originally for another project, but he kind of revamped them for this. Poured acid on them to etch them out and make them look all like concrete, like put glue over them, put sand on it to make it look like concrete. And so we had like these giant concrete blocks, but we only had like 3 of them or something. And so this whole sequence of shots here, we had to set up each like kind of angle and shoot everything, and then move to the walls to the other side to shoot there. Like if you tilted the camera a foot in any direction, you'd see past it. I'm pretty sure right here where we're kind of looking up, there's actually just like a folding plastic table under them. So like, it looks like this really elaborate set. It looks great on camera. It gives us tons of production value.
But really, it's like a gate. And
but it was like the ghettoest thing ever. And I remember all the people that were watching me film it, who'd never been on a film set, who didn't have like the editor's mind where I can, and the cinematographer's mind where I can see how I'm shooting everything and how it's going to come together. They were like, David, what are you doing? How is this going to look like a movie? I'm like, guys, just trust me. And I'd kind of show them through the viewfinder of the camera. They'd be like, okay, I kind of see it, but are you sure? And it looks like seamless. It took a lot of like planning and thought to make sure that all the little puzzle pieces fit together, and that it established a believable artistic geometry.
Yeah.
Very visual too.
Yes. Very visual.
That's why I have such a hump.
So that little kid is now my 20-year-old brother-in-law.
Oh my god, no! No, it's not. That's not Jack. I was about to say how everyone always thinks that's Jack. You said something earlier, and I went to pause it. You were like, "No, that's my brother-in-law." No, that's not. That's not Jack at all.
What? Who is that?
Jack's way skinnier than that kid. No,
Who is that?
She said this earlier, and I went to pause. She said, "That's my brother-in-law," and I was like,
"Wait,
who did
that's
you
not
see?
Jack."
That's not Jack. That kid's name is Lachlan.
Okay, just keep going.
His dad was like a guy who kind of wanted to become a film producer. I think he's actually produced a small low budget film or two now. Who like was friends with Chris Wolf, who wanted his son to be in a movie, and so he like came down from the Portland area so his son could be in the movie.
Wow.
Yeah. That's who you were talking about. I could not figure out earlier.
That's who I was talking about.
When you said no, it's so funny because I was about to pause it right there and say, everyone always thinks that that's my little brother Jack, but it's not. And then you said that, and all of a sudden I realized, oh, that's who she was talking about. Yeah, that's not your brother-in-law. It really does look a lot.
It looks like him from like 2012, because like you know how like the difference between a 12-year-old and a 20-year-old is like insane.
Right. My youngest brother, who's 19
I thought that was him
now,
when he was 12.
No, Jack's job on this film was
it looks exactly like him when he was 12.
No, Jack was like
insane.
Jack's job on this film was to follow me around and carry a bag of lenses for me to change out on my camera. Because he did help me, but he was.
Oh my God.
I'll show you where Jack is. Jack's also one of the corpses getting dumped in the mass grave later. But
let's go.
That's so funny. I could not figure out for like the last 2 minutes.
Okay,
what was she talking about?
Let's go.
You've always thought that was Jack?
I thought that was Jack.
For like 5 years, you've thought that was Jack.
Yes.
That is so funny.
Yes, for years I thought that was Jack.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like to be fair, this was like made like 2 plus years before she knew my brother, so he would have been like barely 13 when this was made. That's so funny. So now here we just went from the talk about locations real quick. So we just went from inside the church, that was kind of where the execution chamber was, and where and then in like a warehouse facility behind the church where we filmed the dungeon. They went through the door, and then they were in a parking garage. That spiral staircase is like a really cool parking garage that's in Medford, our old town. Then they go out the parking garage door and come out at Elk Creek Dam, 30 miles away. And we'll talk more about this location here, I guess. Little movie magic there. Building fictional locations with real locations. This was also where we got to the end of my shot list because I ran out of time to make it. So the rest of the movie was literally just made up as I went. Like, I had the story and the script, but I just had to like walk them through. Okay, this is how you're escaping. This is what we do now. Oh shoot, how do you get down? We'll have them jump down. There's some very interesting on-the-fly challenges we had to work through. Travis has my legendary AR-15 right there.
Oh, there's my husband.
My cameo to die.
So that was just to show that they would just kill people haphazardly.
In the prison camp. This prison camp location is actually an abandoned dam that was like a third of the way built and then abandoned by the government.
it looks
back in the
awesome.
80s. It's a sweet location.
Yeah, my husband's
Ton of
able to
production
just
value.
be able to use what he actually does have at his disposal. My husband's able to use what he actually does have at his disposal to get the most out of a budget.
Yeah. Like, we had a dump truck and a Hummer, so we made it look like we had multiple Hummers and stuff. Jack's one of these bodies. That's Jack and Lucas getting dumped into the mass grave
Yeah.
by the Bobcat. Oh, and we had a Bobcat. This is like all Chris Wolf's old construction equipment from his pool installation days we just used. People are like, wow, how'd you get that stuff?
Yeah.
They think we had so much money.
Yeah, I just remember being like so surprised at how like emotionally invested I was in this movie. I just thought it was so cool that you made this.
That guy dies like 6 times in this movie. Almost every guy that dies is that guy. we only had like 6 airsoft guys, and we just kept switching their uniforms and moving them around. But
And this song is actually written and sung by this actor.
Travis wrote it.
Right?
He doesn't sing. It's actually Harrison singing
Okay.
it, but it's Travis's band. And him and Harrison have fairly similar singing voices. So.
Yeah, so this is all local talent. This isn't like a random song they found. Like, this is actually like them doing it.
That's all like my friends.
Yeah, it's like very talented people. And that kid just gets left behind.
Oh, you know, the only reason he actually got killed was because he wasn't going to be able to be there for filming the next day. So I had to real quick be like, all right, well, you die here.
Wow.
You know, add some loss to it.
Yeah, exactly. I love
'Cause-
this shot. It's pretty.
I mean, man, we were like, this was so rushed for time.
Yeah,
Every day.
they had to remember they had to write and film it within a week.
This was like 4 18-hour days of shooting. We shot this
Yeah.
all.
So this guy's on the edge of death. they're coming
Yeah,
out of them.
It's just like random. Chris Wolf only had that Hummer because a guy like traded him that Hummer for a pool, and it just happened to also be like a green color. That's, I mean, it's not a military Hummer, but it's
Close enough
it's
for
close
a $600
enough that, yeah.
budget by a
It looks pretty
23-year-old
good.
Kid. Yeah.
He was supposed to burst through the fence for anyone wondering, but we ran out of time, so it was easier just to have it, and it would have made the movie too long anyway.
Yeah.
So he blocks it. So everyone's always like, why doesn't he smash through the gate? Because he knows then they keep pursuing him. This stops them. Okay, but I'll watch the end here.
Okay.
This is the best part.
Yeah, totally.
No one, Travis and Harrison, the guys that made the song, and Travis, the lead actor, did not understand why I wanted to use this song, like, until they saw it. I explained it to them over and over, like, I don't get how this song fits an action movie at all. And I was like, you'll see. The visuals
Yeah.
are perfect with it.
Right. No, it really does fit perfectly. And this was the part when I was like, oh my gosh, this is really someone that I want to be with. So it's like in that last second, he just asked Jesus to save him, and Jesus saved him. And I was so worried that he might be like Catholic or some other denomination or something like that, where, you know, they believe in like a works-based salvation. But like that's very clearly like, no, it's by faith alone. If you believe that Jesus can save you and you ask him to save you, that's it.
The
And I was like,
tagline for the film, because it's called Liberation. Liberation, the tagline is anyone can be freed.
yeah.
Kind of a double entendre because it's about a guy breaking people out of a prison camp.
Freed, as in the human sense.
Right, exactly.
But
And then
also in the eternal sense.
in the eternal sense, yeah, it's anyone can be freed from the bondage of sin. Anyone can be saved. Anyone, you know,
can call
God,
upon the name of the Lord.
God can save anyone, even a Nazi who's done horrible things through their whole life and doesn't realize and understand that until their dying breath.
Yeah, and that's when I was like,
Yeah, he gets firing squatted second
So
after
remember,
he
I
accepts
see
Christ.
I see this movie. This is the first thing I ever see of my husband, and like think of how much that teaches me about his mind, his ideology, his beliefs, his faith. And so right away I knew so much about him, and that that was my type of guy.
No, you knew I had a. I guess you didn't know, but you could probably assume I had a gun collection. You knew I was a libertarian.
Yeah, I was like, ooh,
You knew I was a
yeah.
Christian.
I was like, yeah, I was pretty excited. So yeah, this is what brought us together. And he's now, oh, I guess we can take this off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is the movie that brought us together. I just wanted to share that with you guys because I do think it is like a really cool testament to my husband and his ability to like put stuff together with so little and at such a young age and everything like that. So, yeah, happy birthday. I'm very glad you sent this to me and we started dating.
So
and got married.
is that still your favorite film that I've made? Of mine? It's probably still my favorite. I would say of all my films, either this or Occam's Razor, another short film that I made, are my favorites. They're the ones that are like the closest to my vision.
I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I wasn't prepared to answer that. I have no idea. I honestly, like, literally, even if I wasn't actually with this guy, well, I'm like turning red. That's very weird.
You're getting all flushed and excited.
No, I
'cause of my
really
movie.
am. Like, I'm not even joking, you guys. Like, I'm literally getting like flushed. It's like very creepy. Anyway,
I wish I could have watched that movie with you the first time you saw it, because she gets so into movies.
yeah, you guys don't even know.
Like the first movie that we ever went and watched together was
Yeah.
right after we started dating. We've been dating for like a month or month
Yeah.
and a half, maybe 2 months.
Mhm.
I'd never seen a movie with her. I don't even know if we'd like watched a movie together, like on DVD or anything, or at
Mhm.
home at that point. So we went to see this very intense action movie in theaters, and we sit down. At like seconds into it, she's like, ah!
Yeah, he
grabbing my arm.
I
and
didn't
was
even
like,
realize that I acted weird in movies. I just thought everyone acted
I was
like
like
that.
terrified. I was like, what is going on? Is this an insane person? Now I find it really charming, and it makes
Yeah.
watching movies with her fun because she gets so into
Yeah.
it. The movie can get to the end, and she's like, that was a stupid movie. I didn't even like it. But during it, she's like, no, run!
No, you guys, I'm like an empath, and so it
And I'm a
makes
sociopath.
no, it makes movies like unenjoyable because I get it's like if someone's getting their head chopped off, it's basically like I'm getting my head chopped off. Like it's so intense for me. It's such an intense experience for me that it's not even fun. Like it's literally not even fun.
So it would have been.
So like I get very into movies when I watch them.
It would have been really fun to see.
Even
that with
when
you
I
for the
try to
first
control
time.
myself, I really can't.
I think that when I make my next feature film in the Shadow of the Valley here, I think that I'm not gonna let you watch anything until we have like any of the edits until we have like a really good rough cut coming along.
Yeah.
Because I want to just see how you react to it.
No, okay, but anyway, my point is that even if I wasn't dating him and eventually married him, I would have actually, like, for real, been, like, a huge fan. Which is really cool to actually be with a guy who you legitimately admire and respect and just think is so talented and awesome.
That's pretty cool to be married to your biggest fan.
Yeah. So happy birthday. Happy 30th birthday.
Now she can get roles in movies by sleeping with the director.
Yes, I really can. My dreams of being an actress have come true. Oh, you guys, since I've been with him, I've been in like dozens of commercials.
And a short film or two.
So it's like actually worked.
Hmm.
It really has. So anyway, I guess that's about it. Unless, did you have anything else to add?
No, I think that was about it.
Well, happy 30th birthday. I feel like he's
Thank
done
you.
so much in such a short time. I'm very proud of him.
I only wish it had been more. But yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if I got to 30 and my only accomplishments were some short films, I'd probably be pretty bummed. But I got a hot wife and 3 really beautiful children that she's given me. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
3 by 30.
Yeah, my goal was 3 by 30. It didn't happen, but at least his goals happened.
Yeah. Well, you can live vicariously through me since you're robbing the cradle.
Yeah, that's basically what I do. Okay. All right. Adios.